Say something, do something.
We're gonna, so I'm not sure how much time we have in here, you know, there might be coming in, but there's still a few more, right?
Yeah, I'm watching.
I'm not starting. Significant. If you think we're on the highest peak of Mount Carmel, so I was riding for the range till we got up here. And the story that we reference here is 1 Kings chapter 18. And that's, remember King Ahab, not a very good king. And Elijah tells him, hey, why don't you gather all the people of Israel to the Mount Carmel? And then he says, bring all the prophets of Baal. There were 450 prophets of Baal. And he says, bring them all up there. And we're going to kind of have a competition. We're both going to put sacrifices. And whichever God sends fire from heaven. And he's a true God. Oh, that sounds great. Let's do that. So all the people together. And then we read through the scriptures. It said that the prophets of Baal were praying to their gods from in the morning till noon. It was and of course there was nothing happening, and to the point where Elijah starts mocking them. He's like, hey, maybe he's using the bathroom, maybe he's this, maybe he's that. Why don't you, pray a little bit louder? And then, so of course nothing happens. Then Elijah comes and he says, bring the sacrifices, and then he tells them to pour water on the sacrifice, right? And then he does that 3 times. And there's no water up here, as you can tell, we're on the top of the mountain. So that means they probably have to go to the Kishon Valley, which is at the base of the mountain, 3 times. So I don't know if they're very happy to do that. And they're bringing that up every single time. And then he prays, of course. And he kind of reprimants the people and says, until when are you going to keep playing this game and have 2 opinions? If God is the God, then worship him. And if he's not, then worship Baal. And then, of course, he has a very short, nice prayer. And then fire comes from heaven, of course, devours everything with the water. And then it says that he sees all the prophets of Baal, takes them down to the Kishon River down there, and then slaughters them all. And the interesting part of the whole story, when I read it at the end, is after that entire big event takes place. And then he waits, of course, he tells them, get ready, rain is coming, there's been a drought. And then he sends his messenger 7 times, and on the 7th time he says, I see a little cloud coming in, and then of course rain comes. But right after that, he pretty much runs all the way south to Beersheba because he's afraid of Jezebel. Because she's like, wait till me, and your life is going to be like those of the prophets that you killed when I get to you. And it's like you have this high moment, and then very shortly you're kind of escaping for your life. But I'll leave it up to you guys to share anything else on here. You, myself.
I know we're all kind of learning pieces of the Bible, but this is just part of Elijah's life, which was just utterly amazing, of faith. But he also had times of really gigantic discouragement. That's part of why we love the Bible. So he had these he has an incredibly great moment here, and then he's plunged into utter despair. And he's encountering Ahab and Jezebel, who are terrible. And it's just amazing to see God at work with all the miracles and the steps of faith. The other thing that I really love that nobody ever talks about is in the northern kingdom. Remember when Israel split into half, Judah, the tribes of Judah and Benjamin stayed in the south, the 10 tribes became the northern tribe of Israel. How many good kings did they have? Somebody remember? The northern kingdom, of all their kings, how many of them were men who followed God? 0. Not one. But when there are 2 different prophets prophesy about Ahab and Jezebel's end and the destruction of their family, whatever. But it's really fascinating. If you read further on, I don't know if it's around 20 or 21, Ahab actually repents at the end. His family's still destroyed and the whole thing, but at the end of his life, he repents of his unfaithfulness. So it doesn't qualify him as a good king, but even with all the horrible things he did, like a Hitler of his time for the nation of Israel, he did at one last moment turn back to God. It's a pretty amazing story. But this is truly one of the most remarkable. And Michael, I'd love for you when we get up top, is to describe kind of where they would have gotten the water and the whole kind of traversing back and forth. It's great. What else, Joseph?
Yeah, remind me, what is, Baal is the god of storm and, fire? A storm and fire. It's something, if I recall correctly,
So you mean when he goes off the press? He's hiding in the cave and God.
well, no, that's Elijah. One of the things that's interesting about the battle too, it was actually favoring to the gods of Baal, the gods of Baal, right? Like the idea that would be the one who would answer, and yet it was Elijah's who answered with the exact things that Baal actually was the god of. So again, it's these moments where symbolism happens over and over again. Steve, I think you're talking about how Elijah hears in the cleft of the mountain the whisper of God, right? Wasn't in the storm, wasn't in all these things, it was just in the
Wasn't in the storm or fire or an earthquake, or he was so depressed. And in the end,
yeah, he heard the whispers, the quiet. Which I think is such a great reminder, especially what I do. I agree, Steve, the thing I love is that idea that Elijah went through the mountaintops. You think about, you talk mountaintops and valleys, like we are in the mountaintop of mountaintops, the greatest battle ever, and you threw down against 450 prophets and won with God on your side. He's on the mountaintop, and it's the valley as well. And I think that sometimes the things we miss, just like all of us have those mountaintop moments and those valley moments, and we can find that in the story of an incredible prophet like Elijah. So.
Perfect. We'll make our way up top. The prophets of Baal being killed below him. You'll see that. That's great. Here at the top of the mountain is where the sign is. Somewhere at the top.
I remember that. I heard that story.
Okay, they get and I'll give you our promise of 2 minutes.
It all depends on how you do.
That's an easy way, isn't it? Someone saying I'm taking a selfie of myself and it's close up to
I
you.
was gonna say, they might do. You take words in your mouth. Yeah, totally right.
That's a Syrian Maritime. Oh, it was right next to it. Yeah, that was the electrical plants. You guys see it? Andrew, you see it? No, I don't. All right, look straight from where I'm at, and you'll see like pillars with smoke coming out.
Way off in the
Yeah.
distance.
Yep.
Okay.
You see it? And 3.
Two things every day, two things every week.